The galaxy remembered the day humanity was banished. It was a day filled with fear, confusion, and betrayal. Every major alien empire gathered inside the Great Star Council. Their ships formed a glowing ring around the central station. Their leaders whispered to each other with worried voices, and at the center of it all stood the human delegation. Calm but angry. For years, the galaxy had watched humanity grow stronger. Humans explored faster than expected, learned quicker than predicted, and invented things no species had imagined. What scared the alien empires most was not human weapons. It was human potential, human creativity, courage, and unpredictability made them dangerous to the old rulers of the stars. The Grand Speaker of the Council rose from his seat. His voice echoed across the chamber, he said. "Humanity has grown too fast," he said. "Your future brings danger to all of us," he said. "For the safety of the galaxy, you must be removed." The humans stood shocked, unable to believe what they were hearing. Ambassador Kira, leader of the human delegation, stepped forward. Her voice was calm but filled with pain. She asked, "What crime have we committed?" No one answered. They simply looked away because all of them knew the truth. Humanity's only crime was becoming too powerful too quickly. Then the ruling vote began. Lights flashed across the chamber as each alien empire cast its decision. The final count was shown on a massive holoscreen. 19 empires for banishment, only one against. The result shook every human to their core. The humans were escorted back to their ships under heavy guard. Alien fleets formed a wall around the solar system. They forced humanity back to Earth and locked the borders. No human ship was allowed to travel beyond the moon. Any attempt would be destroyed instantly before leaving. The alien ambassador delivered one last warning. His voice was cold, filled with fear, pretending to be authority. He said, "If you ever return to the stars, we will erase your species." Those words cut deep into every human heart. So humanity disappeared from galactic history. Their planets were disconnected, their colonies abandoned. The galaxy moved on and slowly forgot about them. Most aliens believed humans would collapse without access to space. Many believed humans would die out quietly on their tiny blue world. But humanity did not fall. They did not break. They did not give up. Deep under the mountains, under oceans, inside old bunkers and secret cities, humanity started building something. Something massive, hidden, powerful. Something the Alien Council never imagined humans could create for 2,000 years. The galaxy believed humanity was gone, but in the dark, Earth was preparing for its return. Not as victims, not as outcasts, but as masters of a new destiny. And far away in the silent night sky, the stars waited because they knew one day humanity would come back. For 2,000 years, the galaxy slept peacefully. No one spoke of humans anymore. Their name became a distant memory, a quiet legend told by old travelers. Most young species did not even know humans once walked among the stars. The galaxy believed its fear was gone, but something strange began to happen. It started with a distant outpost at the edge of the Zareth Empire. A small station detected a ripple in space. Not a ship, not an explosion, not a star collapsing, just a ripple. The scanners flickered and froze. Unable to understand the signal, the station commander sent a report and laughed nervously. He said, "Probably nothing," but it was not nothing. Across the galaxy, more ripples appeared, silent distortions in space that did not match any known technology. Ships passing near them felt time slow down, then speed up. Sensors malfunctioned, lights flickered, engines trembled. Every empire grew uneasy. Something was coming. Something powerful, something unknown. Then, one quiet night, the first ship appeared. It did not arrive through a jump gate. It did not travel through hyperspace. It simply materialized in the middle of the Orion sector, black, silent, smooth as glass. Its surface showed no engines, no weapons, no windows. And yet it moved with perfect control. Alien patrol ships panicked and scanned it instantly. But their scanners saw nothing, no life, no metal, no energy. As if the ship was invisible to reality itself. The patrol captain tried to send a warning, but all communication screens suddenly turned white. A single symbol appeared, an ancient symbol the galaxy had not seen in 2,000 years. The human crest, glowing like a burning star. The captain fell back in shock. He whispered, "No, it cannot be them." His crew whispered the same fear. The silent ship moved forward without attacking, without speaking, without showing a single sign of aggression. But its presence alone terrified every empire, because if this was a human ship, then humanity had advanced far beyond anything the galaxy understood. Within days, more ships appeared, one above a dead moon, one passing through a nebula as if it were water, one hovering near the galactic capital. And every ship carried the same silent message. Humanity had returned, and they had returned changed. The Alien Council held an emergency meeting. For the first time in 1,000 years, every member was afraid. They remembered the warning they once gave humanity. They remembered the day they banished them. And now they faced a truth more terrifying than war. Humans had survived without the galaxy. Humans had grown stronger in isolation. Humans had mastered something greater than technology, something the galaxy could not even name. And as the silent fleet drifted through the stars, a single transmission finally arrived. A calm voice, ancient and powerful, it said only 3 words. "We have returned." For centuries, the Galactic Empire believed humanity was finished. They had pushed humans out, erased their cities, and scattered their name like dust across forgotten stars. To the Empire, humans were only a story told to scare young cadets, a warning about ambitious primitives. But on this day, the Empire would learn that the past never stays buried. Admiral Zarin of the Empire stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Silver Dominion. He had spent his entire life believing humans were weak and chaotic. He believed they were gone forever, unable to challenge the mighty Empire. But now, new enemy ships had entered Imperial space, ships unlike anything ever recorded. His sensors officer studied the screens with shaking hands. "Admiral, these signatures, they do not match any known species," he said. "They move like Imperial cruisers, but they strike faster than our interceptors." The Admiral frowned. Confused, no species had ever dared to attack the Empire on its borders. Then the first message arrived, a cold transmission, delivered in a language not heard in the Empire for hundreds of years. It was Terran Standard. The Admiral's heart froze when he recognized it. The message said only one thing: "We are back," across the fleet. Officers looked at one another with disbelief. Humans were supposed to be dead, destroyed, erased. But the ships on the screen told a different truth. Sleek black hulls, glowing silver lines, and weapons that cut through space like knives. This was not the humanity the Empire had crushed. This was something reborn, stronger, united, and silent like a storm before impact. When the Terran fleet moved, the Empire finally understood fear. The first strike was clean, quick, and merciless. Imperial outposts disappeared in seconds, not destroyed by fire, but simply removed, as if they were wiped out of existence. "Admiral, our shields are collapsing. Our outer defense ring is gone," the officer cried. "How can this be? Who are these people?" But Zarin already knew the answer. His hands trembled as he whispered the forbidden's name, "Humans." Suddenly, the Terran flagship appeared through a rift of blue light. a giant vessel shaped like a blade cutting through the void. Its presence alone shook the morale of every Imperial captain. Never in history had the Empire seen a ship of this size. Never had they seen a ship with a living energy core pulsing like a beating heart. A second message came, calm but heavy. You banished us. You hunted us. You thought we would disappear. Now we return to reclaim what you stole. The Empire had faced countless enemies. Rebels, pirates, and ancient beasts, but never had it faced a species filled with such quiet determination, such controlled power, such unstoppable resolve. As the Terran fleet advanced, Admiral Zarin realized something terrible. The Empire had made the greatest mistake in galactic history. It had taught humanity how to survive alone, and humanity had returned not as victims, but as masters. The day the Empire learned fear had begun. The galaxy was silent when the human fleet appeared at the edge of Imperial space. No one expected them. No one believed they would return after being banished. But now, their ships moved like a dark storm. Powerful engines glowing blue in the endless black. Commander Reland stood at the front of the flagship Eclipse Dawn. His eyes were calm, but his heart carried the anger of an entire species. He looked at the hologram of the Imperial Defense's massive stations, heavy cannons and thousands of warships waiting like a steel wall. This battle should not exist, Ryland said quietly. But they forced it. Humans did not come for revenge. They came for truth. They came for justice. And the Empire had refused to listen. As the fleet advanced, Admiral Syraxis of the Empire watched from his station. He had studied humans for years, calling them primitive troublemakers. Now, for the first time, he felt fear. Their ships were strangely built, redesigned, and glowing with energy far beyond anything the Empire understood. Why would the banished return? He whispered. What are they planning? Nobody had an answer. The first warning blast came from an Imperial destroyer. A bright red beam shot across space and hit a human cruiser. But instead of exploding, the cruiser absorbed the hit like a shield of light, and the energy rippled off harmlessly. The Imperial bridge shook as officers stared in shock. That should have destroyed them, an officer said. But Reland only nodded when he saw the impact. Their weapons are the same as before, he said. They still underestimate us. Humans had spent their exile not just surviving, but advancing. Their technology grew faster than any other species. They had no empire, no ancient knowledge, and no allies. But they had something stronger: pressure, hardship, adaptation. They evolved because they had to. Raylan raised his hand. All ships maintain formation. Do not fire unless fired upon. The fleet followed the command with perfect discipline. Humans did not want war. They only wanted the Empire to admit the truth that the banishment was a lie, a cover-up, a move to hide an event the Empire feared to explain. But the Empire panicked. Dozens of cannons activated. Hundreds of missiles locked onto targets. Thousands of ships moved forward in aggression. The first real strike came. A wave of Imperial missiles sped toward the human fleet like a burning storm. Reland watched them approach steadily, unrelenting, unstoppable. Activate Horizon Field, he ordered. A soft hum echoed through his ship. A bright silver dome expanded around the fleet. The missiles hit the field and vanished. Completely erased. The Empire froze. What? What was that? Syraxis gasped. Rayland finally gave his next command. We warned them. Now defend yourselves. The human fleet moved, smooth, silent, precise. The battle began not because humans wanted it, but because the Empire gave them no choice. And as the first Imperial ship exploded, the galaxy realized one truth: humanity never returned weak. They returned changed. Smoke and broken metal floated in space where the great Imperial fleet once stood. The battle was over. Humanity had not come to destroy but to survive. Yet the Empire's fear turned everything into a war that they themselves could not win. Commander Reland stood on the bridge of the eclipsed dawn, staring at the wreckage with a heavy heart. He never wanted to see so many ships burning. He never wanted history to reach this point. But the Empire had pushed them too far. They forced their own fall. Rylan whispered across the galaxy. Imperial citizens watched the news in shock. No one had ever imagined that humans, the species once mocked and banished, could defeat the strongest military power in known space. Some were afraid. Some were impressed. Some celebrated quietly, knowing the Empire's cruelty had finally met its match. In the Imperial Palace, Emperor Keller sat frozen on his throne. His advisors shouted, panicked, tried to offer strategies, but he knew it was too late. The human fleet was moving toward the capital, not to conquer, but to confront the truth he had buried for years. And the truth was simple: humanity was never guilty. They were framed to protect the Empire's image. When the human scanner technology first detected an ancient, cosmic anomaly near the Empire's core systems, the Empire panicked. They could not explain it, could not control it, and feared that other species would learn they were not as powerful as they pretended. So they blamed the humans, banished them, and closed the case. Now, the lie had reached its end. As the human flagship entered orbit above the capital world, millions gathered to watch. Some expected revenge. Others thought humans would take control. But instead, Rylan opened a galaxy-wide broadcast. The screen showed his calm face. "We did not return for war," he said. "We returned for the truth. The Empire banished us to hide their own fear. But fear should not guide the galaxy. Truth should." His words echoed across worlds, across ships, across species. And then, something unexpected happened. One by one, Imperial officers removed their badges. Soldiers lowered their weapons. Civilians filled the streets. They knew he was right. They had felt the Empire's pressure for years: high taxes, forced silence, hidden events, unexplained disappearances. Humanity had not destroyed the Empire. The Empire destroyed itself with lies. Within hours, the Imperial Council collapsed. Worlds declared independence. Neighboring species offered peace to humans, finally treating them as equals. A new council was formed, not an empire, but an alliance. Humans were given a seat at the center, not out of fear, but out of respect. Their exile had forged them into something stronger, smarter, more united. And Rylan? He looked at the stars with a quiet mind. "We were banished," he said softly, "but that was the beginning, not the end." Humanity had returned not as victims, but as the spark that changed the galaxy forever.